Let's start. MTC. Day 22, Number 1. Most importantly, money needs to be scarce in a predictable way. Precious metals have been desirable as money across the millennia not only because they have intrinsic beauty but also because they exist in fixed quantities. Gold and silver enter society at the rate at which they are discovered and mined. Additional precious metals cannot be produced, at least not cheaply. Commodities like rice and tobacco can be grown, but that still takes time and resources. A dictator like Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe could not order the government to produce 100 trillion tons of rice. Zimbabwe Robert Mugabe 100. He was able to produce and distribute trillions of new Zimbabwe dollars, which is why they eventually became more valuable as toilet paper than currency. Zimbabwe. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 22, Number 2. When the late Theodore Roosevelt came back from Africa, just after he left the White House in 1909, he made his first public appearance at Madison Square Garden. Theodore Roosevelt 1909 Madison Square Garden. Before he would agree to make the appearance, he carefully arranged for nearly 1,000 paid applauders to be scattered throughout the audience to applaud his entrance on the platform. 1,000. For more than 15 minutes, these paid hand clappers made the place ring with their enthusiasm. 15. The rest of the audience took up the suggestion and joined in for another quarter hour. 15. The newspaper men present were literally swept off their feet by the tremendous applause given the American hero, and his name was emblazoned across the headlines of the newspapers in letters 2 inches high. Roosevelt, 2. Roosevelt understood and made intelligent use of personal promotion. Roosevelt. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 22, Number 3. According to the consulting firm McKinsey, knowledge workers spend up to 60% of their time looking for information, responding to emails, and collaborating with others. McKinsey, 60. By using social technologies, those workers can become up to 25% more productive. 25. The need for productivity gains through working harder and longer has a limit and a human toll. The solution is to enable people to work smarter, not just by saying it, but by putting smart tools and improved processes in place so that people can perform at enhanced levels. Think of it as the robot-assisted human, given superpowers through the aid of technology. Our jobs become enriched by relying on robots to do the tedious while we work on increasingly more sophisticated tasks. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 22, Number 4. By acting on either natural or artificial resources, through techniques, we alter them in various ways. Thus we create artifacts, which form an important aspect of technologies. A clay pot is an example of a material artifact, which, although transformed by human activity, is not all that far removed from its natural state. A plastic cup, a contact lens, and a computer chip, on the other hand, are examples of artifacts that are far removed from the original states of the natural resources needed to create them. Artifacts can serve as resources in other technological processes. This is one of the important interaction effects within the technological system. In other words, each new technology increases the stock of available tools and resources that can be employed by other technologies to produce new artifacts. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 22, Number 5. Despite all the talk of how weak intentions are in the face of habits, it's worth emphasizing that much of the time even our strong habits do follow our intentions. We are mostly doing what we intend to do, even though it's happening automatically. This probably goes for many habits, although we perform them without bringing the intention to consciousness, the habits still line up with our original intentions. Even better, our automatic, unconscious habits can keep us safe even when our conscious mind is distracted. We look both ways before crossing the road despite thinking about a rather depressing holiday we took in Brazil, and we put oven gloves on before reaching into the oven despite being preoccupied about whether the cabbage is overcooked. In both cases, our goal of keeping ourselves alive and unburnt is served by our automatic, unconscious habits. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC. Day 22, number 6. Although instances occur in which partners start their relationship by telling everything about themselves to each other, such instances are rare. In most cases, the amount of disclosure increases over time. We begin relationships by revealing relatively little about ourselves, then if our first bits of self-disclosure are well received and bring on similar responses from the other person, we're willing to reveal more. This principle is important to remember. It would usually be a mistake to assume that the way to build a strong relationship would be to reveal the most private details about yourself when first making contact with another person. Unless the circumstances are unique, such baring of your soul would be likely to scare potential partners away rather than bring them closer. Day 23. MTC. Good job.